I think the last 3 or 4 years has been spectacularly good, including the pivot year of 2022 when the US markets corrected by quite a bit. But India held on very, very stable, even in a year when globally interest rates went up sharply everywhere. So going forward this year, the trifecta that you referred to that we wrote about, valuations, liquidity, and earnings growth, the trifecta seems to be now edging towards a single pillar direction, which is domestic liquidity being the strongest and probably the only pillar that is driving the markets right now. And given what we have got in terms of market performance in the last 3 years, time for a recalibration of expectation. That doesn't necessarily mean a prediction for a massive market correction or even a very sharp market correction. That I think will require an external stimulus of some sort, essentially a race one of some sort. But certainly returns expectations will be more muted this year compared to whatever we've seen in the last 3 years.
External stimulus. I was just talking to a guest here in the SGX a little earlier in the hour. We're talking about how India, which has been a long trend that we've seen under Trump 1.0, has been a beneficiary as far as the diversification of these markets, manufacturing in the face of these Trump tariffs. Could this continue to provide a bit of a tailwind for some of those sort of export-exposed names into the US?
Yeah, so first of all, India is rather less susceptible to export performance vis-a-vis its macro growth as well as markets performance compared to many other countries in Asia, simply because dependence on merchandise exports certainly is a lot less for India than with many other Asian countries. Second, Trump 1 was not too bad for India, and I think just taking the geopolitical aspect of it, India seems to have got the handle of how to engage with a Trump presidency, and that will most likely stand India in good stead in Trump 2 as well. Global trade is still early days to conclude whether there is a significant drawdown in global trade thanks to Trump 2. If anything, the early signals are mixed, and it's not all gloom and doom at all. And secondly, less of a worry for India. If you look at Indian exports in the last 3 or 4 years, hasn't been great at all. But both the macro as well as markets have chugged along quite merrily on various other levers that really are more material for India.